The last day of Welkins. From here on out, I'm free to play. Well, well, well. What a moment. What a goddamn moment.
Try and stop me! Hear the echoes of the valley!
Everybody stand! Show no mercy! See, Laline, it's
Light of the blazing sun! Incinerate! Let the mountain's veins boil!
teamwork is strict. Fulfill our pact. Suffer the wrath of Eatsley!
Wrath from the skies! Hear the echoes of the valley! Pyroclastic surge!
I still wish you.
This realm is... If you ever have it... La...
letting brave names echo!
I'm going in! Huh. Seat Laline! East Papa! Get him!
Light of the blazing sun! Try and stop!
Let's light it up!
Wrath from the skies! Incinerate! Rev the... Bring it! Hear the echoes of the valley!
Get to work!
Light of the blazing sun! Incinerate! Try and stop me! Rise with the...
Letting brave names echo! Off we go! Teamwork is true! Fulfill our pact! You two! Time...
Pyroclastic surge! Many insects have a compulsion to...
The most important part of going out to have fun is, well, going out. So just show up and I'll handle the rest.
Bow your head.
Let my name echo in song!
Weak. Illusions of obstructions.
Silence! The tides beckon.
Stop that! Let the world come alive!
This world, a fleeting shadow.
Settle down!
Pathetic. Your idea crumbles before me. Try and... Hear the echoes of the valley!
Show no mercy! Seat Laline! East Papa!
Pyroclastic surge! Let engraved names echo!
Suffer the wrath of the
Wrath from the skies!
Add Astro. Thank you for complete. Ad Astra. You will need. Cross the wrong passing. Not even clever. Found your weak spot. Listen up. Life is everything. The freedom of my compliments. Glory demands more. Can you keep up? Can you keep up? Quickly and swiftly. Quickly and swiftly. Run, won't save you. Still. Found your sweet spot.
Fury boils.
What a nuisance.
Let's do this.
Can you take this? You will need. Glory demands more. A new era awaits. Found your sweet spot. Run, won't save you. Quickly and swiftly. Take this! Brilliant light the way!
Fury boils.
Bask in the sunlight.
Fury boils. Let's do this.
Run, won't save you. Victory favors me. A new era awaits. Gently does it? Surrender. Still recognize.
Fury boils.
What a nuisance.
Rise and everything.
Fury boils. Silence. Let's do this.
Brilliant light the way. Another impudent display. Can you keep? Glory demands more. Quickly and swiftly. Masterpiece complete. Can you keep? Quickly and swiftly.
Fury boil.
Life is everything. The fruit of life.
Burn to ashes. Let's do this.
Victory favors me.
A new era awaits. Quickly and swiftly.
Fury boil. Burn. Silence. Let's do this.
Surrender. You will need. Take this. Glory demands more. In the name of the Montes. Quickly and swiftly. Found your weak spot. Still
Feel my wrath. Let's do this.
Light away. The world is mine.
Masterpiece complete. Run, what say?
Fury boil.
Fruit of bask in the sunlight.
Fury boil. Silence.
My comments. Can you keep up?
Ta-da! Open sesame.
Bust. Or maybe take it off. Watch your head.
Nothing but a boy. Open sesame. Watch your crack. Nothing but a boy. Open sesame.
Bust. Or maybe take it off.
Nothing but a boy.
Um, My Day. This straight up says My Day. I'm guessing they're trying to shill for the My Day character. And then they gave a buff that said imaginary. They gave a other bunch of other buffs that pretty much says destruction.
something? Take a look. This is numbers.
Or maybe take it off.
What's going on, Federal? The Peglin Master Extraordinaire. I was just listening to this guy talk about Wuwa, because Wuwa, well, not so much Wuwa itself, but a lot of the players, well, not a lot, but quite a few people in the Wuwa community are feeling that with the Withering Waves are making exploration paywalled. So it's kind of like pretty interesting to listen to them speak about it. It's a non-issue, but it's fascinating because this is how they treat Genshin when it comes to Natlan exploration. That they feel that you need these characters to explore Natlan. So it's kind of fascinating to see some of them hold that same kind of consistency when it comes to exploration in Wuwa. That they feel it's going to be a slippery slope, much like the one in Genshin. Will it be? No, but some of them do think it will be, so it's very fascinating to hear what they have to say. And that's just how I've been killing time while I sit here in silence playing Honkai's Star Rail. Also, I've been reading a lot of sussy mangas. Because I was on YouTube when I came across a common theme when it comes to Korean manhwas, which is that the girlfriend always betrays the guy, the main character, right before an apocalypse. Right before the apocalypse, well, not right before, sometimes during the, many times during the apocalypse, and then the main character gets reborn and sent back in time to redo with the knowledge that they have picked up in their previous life. Yeah. Like this one, like there's a lot of them are sussy. A lot of them have borderline hentais sometime. Not too crazy, but couple of them have my head spinning. Saying, God damn, that situation's kind of fucked up. But the thing is, it's so fucked up, I enjoy listening to it. Like, I found myself enjoying the ones where the girl betrayed the guy. And then seeing how he gets back at her. And it's never satisfying. It's never satisfying how he gets back at her. Like, either he kills her or she ends up in a horrible situation. But what gets me every time is just the beginning. His is the initial betrayal that really gets to me. It really hooks me. Either she gets with his friend. Most of the time she gets with his friend. Or she gets with another guy. Then she called the main character loser. Abandons him in the dungeon. Or kicks him off the party. Sometimes she's the victim herself. Like, she's forced to do it. And she really was like life or death for her. Or she was being mind controlled. But all of them are... But the initial hook where she betrays the guy always gets to me. Maybe I have trust issues or something. Did I wish? I did not wish. I wish upon a star that I could have gotten a goddamn 5-star, but the game was like, no bitch, you get nothing. I didn't want to say it like that, but I don't know, man. Like, maybe I am. Maybe I am. No, I have trust issues. I 100% have trust issues. Like, what it is probably just reinforcing my trust issues. As in, I'm like, oh, if I was this guy, I would have been in that situation. And so I would never put myself in that situation. Which is, oh, well, I'm gleaning from my consistent desire to seek out these type of media. Man. Making me wonder, huh? Yeah, a lot of stuff happen when you grow up. A lot of things happen. And they stick in your mind. Stick in my goddamn mind. The question, will I get a good artifact today? But yeah, I mean, the banner for it that's coming up in Genshin Impact with Veresa. Like, goddamn, the 4 stars, like, I was just planning to do one pull on it. I don't know what to do anymore. Like, I want Ian Sans, but I don't know what to do because it's Ian San and what's her name? Chevreese. Those are 2 premium characters I would like to get copies of. And I guess if I have to get a character, the best one to get would be I guess Shanyon. Like, I'm not really feeling Veresa because long term I already have Raiden. Sure, I don't have a punch DPS, but if I get Shanyon, all my characters are punch DPS. Is the way I'm looking at it. And Shanyon is waifu, so I don't want Shanyon. But if I get it early, I'd rather it be Shanyon. So I'm kinda thinking about what's the best move is. I really don't want Shannon. Well, I'm just like, these 4 stars are so good. Like, there's no reason for me to get Chevries, but and Ian said definitely there's a reason for me to get Ian San. Ian San is a major plus, but we'll have to see. Like, I just want 1 copy of Ian San. Maybe let's do a 10 pull, because I was just gonna do a 1 pull and just be like, all right, because I'm already at the 9 pity for 4-star, and the next pull I do on my Genshin account will be a 4-star on the character banner. So that's something to look forward to. Store check-in. What is this? Take a photo. Take a photo. I don't know what to take a photo of, man. Is it the store? Is it the game store? Arcade? Oh, it is arcade. And I think usually they want me to play a single game, but it's usually a specific one. Play Bizarre Brigade.
Looking to relax after a busy day at work?
So you go like this,
You're
you
at the right place.
go like this. You choose a shitty character like no HP. And you just hope the character dies. Oh, while you do something else. Would have missed my desktop been on this entire time. I'm dead, right? I actually survived. What is this game? And I gained so much HP. I gained so much HP. Why did I gain HP? What did he do? Does he just gain HP? Why is nothing hitting me? Why am I healing? Oh, he's dead. Thank God. Because I'm like, why am I still here? What is my purpose?
Thanks for coming. Hope you had a great time.
So he did this. I'm supposed to go help with Bang Boo. But yeah, Chevries and Ian San tomorrow. Exciting stuff, I must say. So how does this work? You go like this. You supposed to go like this. You're supposed to go like I don't know. I don't know what you're supposed to do, frankly. So how does this work again? Okay, what's going on here? Why is it so much more difficult? Okay, so you have to be pointed like this, and you have to be pointed like this. And somehow I'm supposed to get this. Am I missing something here? Okay. That took way too long. Good thing no one was around to see that. That was a little embarrassing. That's a wee bit embarrassing. Find the battle pass. Where were we? 170 pulls. What am I doing in this game? I have no idea. I've only pulled, well, I pulled 6 times. I pulled for 3 weapons. I lost the 50, well, I lost the 25, or the 75% chance. And I got the wrong weapon 1 time. And then I got the guarantee for Miyabi. I just don't think Hoyo has a clear vision for this game yet. So I don't feel like getting any character right now. Maybe 2.0, like once they introduce a new endgame mode, then I'll be like, alright. I'll start pulling. Because then there'll be a sign that they have a clear vision for this game. That was something I learned in Honkai Star Rail. Honkai Star Rail, they did not have a clear vision for the game. So they keep introducing more end games, and the first thing they did was they increased the floors for the current end game. So that was the first thing they did, and then after that they introduced 2 more end game modes for Honkai Star Rail. So that was their way of doing this. Genshin, they stuck with the Abyss. But for Honkai Star Rail, it was clear they had no idea what they were cooking. So with that in mind, I feel like ZZZ is currently in the same situation as Honkai Star Rail, where they don't really have a clear vision for what kind of endgame mode that they have. Because they introduced 1 endgame mode already for Honkai for ZZZ. We'll just have to see what they decide to do when we when they go to 2.0. It won't be until the 2.0 patches that we have an idea of what is this Hoyo is trying to accomplish with this game in particular. %, great. My favorite. Too bad there's not to really equip that to, so time for some Corrin gameplay. What does Corrin look like? What are your stats, young lady? Man, this is really glitchy. Like, what is that about? I feel like my frames went to like 5 or 1. How glitchy that was. So what's her sting? Seems like she's able to do a blade thing, where she's able to just keep a blade spinning. I really like her hair color though. Like, it's usually gray. Like, that thing, it just keeps going. And she breaks really fast. She just mowing motherfuckers down. Chainsaw girl. So you want to be a Pokemon master?
I promise. I'll spare no effort. I can keep going.
You're fucking with me. What the fuck? Activate chainsaw combat overclock at least 4 times. What does the fuck does that mean? And after that, do this again. Is this chainsaw overclock? Does it tell you what chainsaw overclock is? I'm guessing that. I think I activated that one that much, huh? The one that's part for combat string that is sensitive, flying thing out. Ah, but no, after this again, man, that fight took forever. That was the worst fight. I think it's supposed to be a big ass thing. Re is for bitches. That's what my teacher said. My English teacher, to be more specific. Yeah, not the best teacher in the world, but they try their best. It's the thought that counts, am I right? Good God, man. I don't even know what to say anymore. What has amazed me playing gacha for so long is just how insane the gacha community is. They don't really understand concepts like subjective. Well, it's like it's a lot, but it's probably the content creators. Even then, like it's just a lot of discussions. Like people are easily manipulated into believing things. Maybe it's just the online community. Oh man, it's about to die. Hopefully I activated the overload ability. Hopefully that's the overload ability, the one part of her combat or combo string. Hey, I got S rank. Yeah, boy. Got my extra 10 polychromes. Then on top of this, I have to do the other stuff. Like this game, I think has the most activities for weeklies. I really don't understand the point of this game mode in particular. Because it feels like it just forces you into certain awkward builds. And then you're supposed to do the main... Oh, man, it's so weird. Like, this is just not good. This game mode, I think, was just not very well thought out. I could see. Let me see what this is about. It seemed pretty good, if you ask me. How am I stuck? Why did I just... Oh yeah, so basically the manhwa I just read or listened to on YouTube was about this guy who essentially world apocalypse happened. He stays with Izza. He basically get betrayed by his girlfriend. So he starts off with him dead on the floor. Because his girlfriend basically cheated on him with this other guy and then killed him. So he's there, and then they're about to have sex while he's there dying. So he's on the floor dying. His girlfriend's about to get banged by some other dude. And he just like, oh, damn. I should have not believed or trust this girl. So he wakes up like a month before the apocalypse happens. And this is a common theme in manhwas. Like a lot of manhwas have this exact same plot, where a guy gets betrayed right before the during the apocalypse, and then gets sent back in time to a couple days or weeks before the apocalypse happens, and then they, while also having a girlfriend betray them. So he's going through, the main character is going through that. And then what ended up happening is they buy a bunch of stuff before the apocalypse happens, because money won't mean anything. So they start taking out a bunch of loans, selling off their houses, just trying to get as much money as possible as fast as possible, because money won't matter in a couple of months. In a month time, money won't matter. What the fuck is going on here? And then he pretty much through the store he runs into the girl. That's it. Well, in this case, it's his fiance who's gonna betray him. Because she's just with him because he's a very nice apartment that was left to him by his parents. And she's like, that's my apartment. Or that's supposed to be it. Well, in this scenario, she pretty much claims it as her own. Or she has a guy on the side. So pretty much the main character giving her the cold shoulder for the entire story. In this scenario, she pretty much, I want to say, like, she was just a bad person. There was nothing redeeming about this lady. So eventually she turned into a monster. But it was definitely one of the more interesting ones, I will say. When it comes to that type of narrative. Yeah, man, there's a lot of stores in this one. And there's also a lot of coins. Thought that when I died, so I was walking away. But the game was like, nah, bitch. That one is still alive and kicking. How am I supposed to even get here? Like, I'm not getting anything. Like, come on, is this game was supposed to be difficult or what? Feels like I'm playing a game for kids. Like for Battle Cats enjoyers, this seems like the kind of game somebody who played Battle Cats would enjoy. Where's the difficulty, Hoyo? Where is the difficulty? Hoyo made this game mode a little bit too easy. Dude, what are you doing, man? You're just running all over the place like someone with their head cut off. What is this attack? I thought I didn't pick that one. I swear on my blade. Man, that fucker's not dying. I was trying to save my ult, but mother bitch seemed he had different plans. Time limit. Did I ever get anything for that? Oh, I got coins. I got coins, baby. But yeah, this does take a long time. A little bit too long. Guess I'll just take whatever I could get. Like, I'm hoping to get something here. Come on, give me the thing I want. I'm so close. Oh man, I was looking for... There it is. There it is. Now we fight Geppetto. The question is, when it's going to be Pinocchio's turn to get an ass whooping. I don't discriminate, man or puppet.
I swear on my blade. Remember to smile. Victory, the only option. There's no time to lose. I'm unstoppable. This song is dedicated to the world. Vanish. I swear on my blade.
Alright, easy. Didn't even get to move or to spam and burst. That's the cool thing about burst in this game. Because that enemy would have otherwise entered a different phase, but because burst pretty much stuns, like it has such a strong stun that enemy just can't move. I just can't do anything while you're casting your burst. So if you have in this place, you're pretty much able to spam your bursts, and by doing that, you pretty much lock down the enemy. Essentially infinitely. Because they can't do anything. They get so much pulls. Like so, these pulls, baby. What gonna do with all these pulls? I don't know. I do not know. Still nowhere close to a 5-star for standard though, so. And I don't get earlies, so. Yeah. I guess that's exciting. And it's always gonna keep appearing because he wants me to finish this thing. But I'm just like, you know what? Don't you want to think about it a bit more or discuss it with your friends? Everyone loves being anonymous era. Alright, then please accept the respect of myself and my fellow defense should you require any additional supplies from the outpost. As support in the future, don't hesitate to let us know. Do I get gems? Do not. I do not get gems. We have 0 of those. Okay, so I guess I will be farming those things. Doge. So much farming, so little time. Tomorrow is the Genshin Impact big update. And I'm actually looking forward to the banner.
No room for mercy. It's over.
Look at the light, eh? Like the graphics for this place always look so beautiful. For a second there was like, what's that, anus? What is Oceanus? It's like, why did they put anus on the side of that boat? Like, who decided that that was appropriate?
Press forward. My blade is already. Purging slash. Yeah.
Now I have to fight him 2 more times. Great. Fantastic, huh? Perfect. Magnifique. 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 Where were we? Last time on Dragon Ball Z. Aurora farming.
My blade is already.
So this does not say anus, it said Oceanus. But I guess I found it funny, so they hit a decent portion of the word. But it's really the O and C, so that's kind of well hidden. The E is pretty much right there. We're trying to get to this girl. I still have no idea how to get to her sometimes. Do I hold it down?
Victory, the only option.
Yu-Gi-Oh! GX Generation X. Game on, get you. Why am I only got 2? I thought I got 3 last time. Now, do I hold it down to get back to her? Nope.
It's over.
So the bridge is pretty much very corrupted. With Astra's fat ass over here. Swinging around.
My blade is already. Gotcha! Catch you in the next life! I swear on my blade.
I swear on her blade. I don't have a sword, so I can't really swear on my blade. Think you kinda need a blade to be able to swear on said blade. Oh, I knew it. Last time I got 2, and now I got 3. I knew something was fishy. I'm just gonna put my finger on it. I just could not put my finger on it, but here we are. I was able to put my finger on it. With consent, of course. But nonetheless, I was in fact able to put my finger on it. To figure out what the hell was going on. What the hell are we waiting for? Your PP counts as a blade if you're brave enough. Oh my god. I don't participate in that kind of sword fighting. That kind of sword fighting is a little bit sussy. So you get caught, man. 2 guys in the locker room sword fighting with their blades. So that's what's happening in Italy right now. A lot of sword fighting. Not that there's anything wrong with that. Just not for everyone. Not everyone is as brave as you, Federal. We're not all warriors. Oh man, what is this garbage? What is this garbage? Oh man, this sucks. Alright, here's garbage, and that's garbage. And then this is a 4-liner, and it's all gonna go into defense, which is what pisses me off. Of course it does. Of course it fucking does, goes into defense. If it didn't go into defense, would it have been my artifact? West gotta stop rolling pieces like that. Cause I don't need it. This is garbage. This is garbage. And this is a defense piece. That's also garbage. Well, I got nothing to show for today. I got nothing to show for today when it comes to artifacts.
This is the path I follow.
And there's really nothing for me to do in any of these games, so it's not like I'm really sweating it. Crit rate, okay. Here I was trying to impress Federal with my artifact luck. But once again, I'm reminded of why everyone say they hate artifacts. Crit rate, okay. You always think you're going to be the exception. That you're going to be the anomaly to get the god tier artifact. But then you're in for a rude awakening. Look at this, double crit and double crit, but they're both defense. Like the game knows how to fuck you. The game just knows. What's going on here? Where's your stat look like this? I don't even know what to do here. What the hell are you waiting for? So right now I have 172 wishes. I am at 60 pity for the character banner, not guaranteed. And I am at 52, 52 pity for weapon banner. So 60 and 52. And I have 172 pulls. And I have no interest in pulling until we get to 2.1 at least. Like, I'm not pulling before 2.1. I've gotten destroyed because of my desire to pull. In Honkai Star Rail. Why is plunge is so much slower and harder to do on mobile than on PC? Most colorful weapon banner. Seem a lot of people excited for this upcoming character banner, which makes sense. A lot of people are gonna want Ian Sen or Chevrys. Like, do I really don't care for Chevrys? Not really. She would make my 4-star. If I want to do 4-star runs, Chevrys would 100% help. Chevrys is very good for enabling 4-star only runs. The next pool is a Cryo Archon. Oh my god, somebody gotta break the news to this person. The Cryo Archon isn't until next year. Around September. Or maybe not even maybe 2027 you get the Cryo Archon. Bro, after pull, I've been waiting for Garmin, C6 Chevrys. Well, the real race are good. I am happy to be pulling for her cause any of these 4-star will be good for me. Arguably, Garmin Constellations help the least. But even then, oh my god, like knowing my luck, I'm gonna get a bunch of Garmins. I don't want any Garmins. Like with my luck, I got a bunch of Lanians when I wished on what's his name? Arlecchino's banner. I was hoping for early Arlecchino. Well, no, what am I saying? I was hoping for some Chevrys Constellations, and instead I got 3 Lanians. And I'm just thinking to myself, those could have been 3 Chevrys. Why did they have to be 3 Lanians? Or Lanian, or whatever the fuck her name is. But yeah, right now I'm trying to get the Ian Sen for tomorrow. Man, it's fucking cold where I live. So ice cold. But yeah, the modern ones, man, is the same exact, and the characters also look up very similar. It's like the craziest shit, man. It's like when it comes to Korean manhwa, it's a lot of copy and paste. Not a lot of creativity when it comes to character design. I would say the girls in the one I'm reading right now is different, but the main character looks exactly like another main character from another series. Solo leveling. Coincidence, maybe. Maybe the author for this one copied. Cause solo leveling right now is very popular. It's all the rave when it comes to anime right now. A lot of discussions going on about its story. Overall, it's good. It's not amazing. Some parts are amazing, like some animation are amazing. But right now, the latest episode I felt was just decent. It wasn't anything where I felt it was super or crazy. But yeah, the mon was. So I think I'm at C2 Chevrys. And that's pretty much as far as I'm probably gonna get. And I'm at 31 pity, so the most I could do is wish 40 times. And hope I don't get there early. And that's kind of what the plan is gonna be for tomorrow. Where are we right now? I am at Then 1 day and 9 hours. So at 10 something tomorrow. My time, which is going to be 30 plus hours, sure. Probably 40 plus hours. Because right now it says 6:45. So 6 to another 6 is 12 hours. Then 4 hours for 10. And then so that's 16. So like 40 something hours from now. I will be trying to see if I can get Ian Sano on the Shan Yun banner. Only character in my account that could use Shan Yun is like whoever use Shan Yun, who uses plunge attack. Like I know D-Luke is usually the go-to character, but I already have Mavuika. But anyway, the thing about D-Luke is that he has where is this talents? His talents are his plunge multiplier is low plunge 382. It can't go higher. But for now, it's 382. Who was 281? But that's a 10. Whereas D Lucas at 9. 316. So again, D Lucas just pretty much has a. Hey, she's not bad, but she doesn't have an element. Doesn't have an element. Maybe she could work though. User in Bennett. Kazuo has a high plunge multiplier, which makes sense given it's part of his kit. I was about to say Albedo's non-existent. Remember, he's level 1. He is a level 1 normal attack. What's up with this guy? 343 Catalyst don't really have high plunge multipliers. Near his bows. So yeah. It's really only D-Luke that could use her. Only reason I don't want Veresa is because she will require a brand new moves artifact set. It's a good time to play the game. What an interesting question. People only want Venti to collect the Archons, which I completely understand.
this young man.
Please, do not distract me. Oh, grant me thine blessings.
My cookie adventure. What is going on here? This is a brand new game. I can't tell anymore. Trade event. Are they trying to trick people? There's no fucking trade in gacha games.
Oh? Oh, look at that mushroom!
Oh, what a beautiful rainbow-colored mushroom.
There used to be a cookie who gave out mushrooms to everyone else, asking nothing in return.
Cookie Run Kingdom uses the same voice actors as Genshin Impact
Mushroom this special could make a
and
nice
other Hoyo games, but it seems like their voice actor
Shall we
situation
take a little bite?
is not the issue like Genshin's.
Yes, yes. I've been
Never.
closer.
I tried it, but I quickly stopped once I saw PvP. I was like, wait a minute. Because I will just be stressing about the game, trying to get the... At the time I played, the best character was Vanilla Ice. That's it. Is it Vanilla Ice? Vanilla Ice Cookie? Because Vanilla Ice is actually a person. A rapper. This is Vanilla Ice. But is there also Vanilla Ice Cookie? Or maybe I'm mixing up the name a little bit. There's vanilla ice cream. So what is this guy? Pure vanilla cookie. Okay. I thought that was called vanilla ice. But yeah, pure vanilla is what was the meta when I tried to play the game. I couldn't get him, so I was just looking at myself say I have none of the meta units. And then to keep doing, because it's PvP, like you can't play gacha games PvP. It's just impossible. It just creates a lot of FOMO and stress. Something like if I miss something in Genshin, it's not a big deal. There's no FOMO. I don't need it. I just want it. So I'm able to move on with my life. Whereas in a PvP gacha game, I miss it. I'm like, well, I guess my comp is dead, and I will be barely able to compete on the ladder versus all these other oilers, as the kids say. So this is my Genshin tier list, but I'm like, oh my god, I wasn't able to get my C2 Mavuika, which I'm currently not using. Or say lolly, it would have been like, okay, I'll move on with my life. But if I felt these characters was needed for some kind of PvP kind of situation and I missed it, I was like, okay, guess I'm just done with this game. So that's kind of the way I look at PvP gacha games. There was one I played out that had PvP, but you're pretty much able to grind out the content and get... this was my first gacha game, the one I really got addicted to. I really liked it. And the thing is, these like some of the 4-stars were like this was a Bennett right here. Where else? No, these are all garbage. Like he wasn't bad. This is a healer. Most of these characters were bad, to be quite honest. But you were able to, essentially the way this game worked, how would I describe it? What would be the equivalent? Is that the name card in Genshin Impact? It takes forever to get it. Well, to be fair, it takes even longer in this game. But the idea here is that you could essentially grind out characters out of the pool of characters. So if you played a character enough times, like probably 100,000 times, which I was only able to do because I use a bot. But if you're able to play a character good a lot of times, you're essentially able to max that character out because they will get a stat. They would have a chance of getting 1% or 0.1%. So you would need to get to 100%, and 0.1 time to get a 0.1 into 100% is 1,000. So you basically need 1,000 times you would need to get 0.1, and you're only able to get to 0.1 per battle, and then battles take stamina. So it would take months to try to get a character max because it wasn't guaranteed that you would get 0.1 at the end of every battle. But every battle did cost stamina. So you pretty much was at the fate. You just have to let fate decide. Some people would do it by hands and move the characters around on the grid, which is insane. So every time you initiate combat, characters activate ability, and there'll be a chance when they activate ability that they get like plus 0.1 skill percent, which kind of was like a big deal because it also tied back into your character's ability to activate your skills, because it wasn't simply you're farming them out. When they get that 0.1% at the end of fights, they would also have the, where is it? Yeah, like this person is 100%. Like this is a 34%. So these characters have a 100% chance of activating their abilities every time. This one is 34%. Like what abilities by themselves have chances. So it's whatever chance the ability has plus the base ability for the character. So for him, he would have like a attack that has a 30% chance of activating, and then you add that 30 to this 34, and then you have a 64% chance of activating that set ability. 100% is simply you will never be able to pull this character from the gacha again. At 100%, you will never see this character again. So you could basically farm this character enough that you would just never see them. And with that, and there was never any limited banners. So you could essentially, if you the way you want to think about it was like if Genshin had every character in the banner, and every time you got the friendship name card for a character after grinding them forever, you would just never see the character in the gacha again. And you essentially be able to grind out every single character out of the gacha. Which is what I did. And that was not a small task. Some insane people actually did it by hand though. Not me. And some people will. This game was predatory though. Predatory as a mother bitch. 47. And then it EOS. Basically what also happened was I quit the game and I gave my account away. And then years later, I was like, oh, this game is still on. I called customer service to basically say that I forgot my passcode. And they just gave me back the account that I gave it away to somebody else. But it seemed like the person didn't no longer play the game after I gave it to them. They pretty much quit. Because that's what happens. They had no attachment to the account. But this is my first real gacha. You move these things around a tile and you try to put them on both sides. And then the abilities will activate. So you get 1 attack and 2 attack. And then anybody who was next to each other would trigger their passive abilities. Very addictive game. And then these people will go. What happened? Thought abducted by an imposter. Genshin, the normal. I enjoy these content because I come here and I'm like, is WoW better than Genshin? You can't really see it. Where is it? Is WoW was better than Genshin? I always like to look at their videos. Like their background is all Genshin. Oh, I think this person was actually being critical. I don't know. Honkai Star live stream. Oh my god. What is it? This Castories thing is gonna be a legendary federal. A lot of people are just gonna be Castories ruined the game. Caster flop. It's the same person. Yeah. Global passive. People are insane, man.
For the first half of Genshin Impact 5.5 are revealed, and the 4 stars are shockingly incredible and also very bait. Let's talk about it.
According to Jeff, I want Mavuika's best team. Should I go for C6, Ian Sen, or Shilone? But I want to play lots of team. One versatility, so I should still go for Shilone, right?
You have been enjoying the video.
Oh god.
Helps a lot. Thank you. We're gonna
Frankly, there's no right answer here. Nothing is gonna break your account, and Shalonen really is mostly best for. If you have Kazuha, I guess Shalonen is fine.
Banner, a video. I think it's coming out tomorrow.
Ian Sen is definitely limited. If you have a bunch of Nutling characters, Ian Sen is good.
If you play Shao,
because they all move.
It is an absolute travesty that Farzan is not on this banner. I am honestly shocked. You get a good trade in return, Chevrolet, if you like Chevrolet or Yansan. Both of these are incredible.
Let me guess. Shalonen banner would have bad 4 stars, yes.
On my last tier list.
Yes, it will.
Since then, I said I was going to talk about the 5 stars first, but apparently we're starting with the 4 stars.
I'm glad that Sherry's made these.
So let's roll with it. Gaming.
I don't really know, man.
Great 4-star DPS. I do think he is on the level of all of the really good DPSs. He is a bit more annoying to play.
Damn, this girl got a lot of views. Yeah, she got fucked to the views. The Invincible is really popular. Like, she really hit the algo with the Invincible thing. I was looking, I checked her out and I subscribed because I kind of do like her reactions. People don't care for her Dan Dan, which is funny because Dan Dan, I guess Dan Dan is like a fad. Like when it came out, everyone was like really into it. And once it passes, not many people. Whereas Invincible is still going strong. At least that episode of Invincible is really good.
Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel.
My name is Wolf Glick, and I've won more official Pokemon tournaments than any other player in history. But I realized recently that what is the second best starter Pokemon? Oh, you're wondering why we don't want to know about the best starter Pokemon? Don't worry about that. Nobody cares about that. What a weird question. What the people really want to know is, who's the second best? Now, to be clear, this video is about competitive Pokemon. So if your favorite starter Pokemon isn't on here, that doesn't mean I hate it. It just means that the only reason I'd ever use it is if I was trying to farm YouTube content. There are 6 starter Pokemon that have been good to varying degrees.
So what do you think is the second best Pokemon?
We're gonna talk
Federal.
about 5 of them. All starter Pokemon have some things in common. Most notably,
Primarina
their
seems to be
abilities.
usable.
All fire type starters get the ability Blaze. The water types get Torrent,
Currently.
and the grass types get
Since
Overgrown.
Primarina,
Despite being called different things,
the grass
these abilities
monkey
are
that plays the
effectively all
drum,
same. They power up the Pokemon's fire,
and
water, or grass type
Charizard,
moves
but
when the
different
Pokemon drops
metas.
to low health. These abilities, to put it nicely, suck. While they do come up every once in a while, for the most part, if your Pokemon is low enough HP that the ability
Well,
is
in
actually
VGC
active,
VGC
it's
doesn't
also
really
low enough
work with
HP that
Blaziken.
you'll be taking a trip to the Pokemon Center expeditiously. The good news is that every starter Pokemon gets access to a second ability, and these hidden abilities determine a lot of how good each starter Pokemon can be in competitive play. For example, let's start with Primarina. Do people like Primarina? I feel like I generally have a pretty good idea of like how popular different starter Pokemon are, but for Primarina, I actually have no idea. Primarina is a Pokemon that was introduced
I
in
really don't care for
Generation 7,
Primarina.
and it's the only starter Pokemon from Alola we're going to be talking about today. Primarina is a water and fairy type Pokemon, which is really good.
Yeah.
Even though water and fairy don't have a ton of inherent synergy beyond water canceling out fairy's weakness to steel, it turns out when you stick 2 of the best types in the game together, you get something really good. Primarina only has 3 weaknesses, a rarity among Pokemon with 2 types. And even better, it resists 6 types and is immune to a 7th. Compare this to my favorite Pokemon, Executor, and its 7 weaknesses, including a double weakness to bug, and you'll soon see that not all silly Pokemon are created equal. Primarina is one of the only Pokemon in the game that resists all of the moves from both Urshifu, a Pokemon distortion world bent on traumatizing every competitive player. And unlike
Hey, what's
Decidueye,
going
who
on,
made an
Sprout?
appearance on my worst starter Pokemon video, Primarina's
Who's your
ability
favorite
actually does
Pokemon?
something useful. It's called Liquid Voice, and it turns all of Primarina's
So what's that move?
sound-based
Hyper
moves
voice?
into water type moves, regardless of their original
Oh,
type.
become water
If you're not
type, huh?
sure what a sound-based move is, don't worry, they didn't just add in
I
another
thought it
type
became
that you've never
fairy.
heard of. Well, I mean, unless you haven't heard of the stellar type by now. Some moves make sound, and for the most part, that doesn't change anything. It comes up sometimes because there is an ability called Soundproof, which prevents all damage from sound-based moves, and sound moves ignore substitute, plus a couple other niche interactions. But for the most part, whether a move is sound-based or not is kind of like a tree falling in a forest when nobody's around. It doesn't really matter all that much. But it does matter to Primarina, because every sound-based move becomes water type
Liquid
when
Voice.
the operatic Ocean Dweller is the one using it. And this is a pretty big deal because of a normal type move that Primarina learns called Hyper Voice. Hyper Voice is somewhat unremarkable. It's a decently strong normal type move that hits both targets, but it's also a sound-based move, and that means Primarina gets to use it as a water type attack. Water type moves that hit multiple
Isn't it a
targets
surf?
normally come with some
Oh,
kind of
yes.
drawback. The most
Yeah.
common ones are Surf, which also damages
Yeah,
your partner, and Muddy
everybody.
Water, which can miss. Hyper Voice does neither. And actually, in Scarlet and Violet, Primarina doesn't learn that many better water type moves. Period. There's Hydro Pump, which always misses when you need to
Yeah,
hit, and
no one's used Hydro
Cannon,
Pump,
which
huh?
hits more often and is stronger, but requires a recharge turn after a connection. Primarina used to learn Scald, which is a great move, but it no longer can use that as of Scarlet and Violet. Primarina has strong moves that aren't water type as well, such as Moonblast, which is exceptionally powerful, never misses, and can even lower the special attack of anything it hits. Primarina does have some weaknesses, most notably its stats. That's a little misleading because it actually does have good stats. It's got respectable bulk and it's pretty strong.
I'm sorry,
It's not
Sprout.
exceptional on either axis,
I'm
and it's
pretty
also
much
pretty slow, and that's part of the reason why Primarina was
an
at its best
introvert
during
when
the
it comes
Dynamax
to
era of
Discord.
Sword and Shield. Dynamax allowed a
So I'm
Pokemon
gonna have to
double
say
its
no
health
to
and
this
power up all of its
interaction.
moves. And while all Pokemon benefited to some extent from going big mode, some certainly appreciated it more than others. Primarina was one such case. It was just barely
Man, he
not
spent like
enough
2 hours
and
talking
not
about
strong
Primarina.
enough in its normal form, but with Dynamax in
I thought
play,
this
it
list would go a
suddenly
little bit
became
faster.
terrifying. In Trick Room, slow Pokemon move before fast ones, and with Dynamax and a Life Orb, Primarina could blow through teams before they could react. It also helped that using the water type move, Max Geyser, changed the weather to rain, powering up future water type moves by a whopping 50%. This is actually one of the few times that one of the starter exclusive moves was used in competitive play. See, max moves were stronger versions of regular moves, but how much stronger depended on how strong the base move was. A Pokemon using Max Flare based off of Ember is going to be a lot weaker than Max Flare based off of Overheat. Every starter Pokemon can learn a move that's basically a starter type version of Hyper Beam. In Primarina's case, that move is Hydro Cannon. I mentioned it earlier and how it takes a recharge turn. but when Hydro Cannon turns into Max Geyser, it keeps its high base power, but loses the drawback. It's worth noting that while Primarina was very strong, it only remained relevant for a short period of time. Right at the beginning of the pandemic, when it placed second at the first Players Cup, the online tournament that replaced the official circuit when events stopped. It is a good Pokemon, but compared to the insane power level of some more memorable Pokemon, it does struggle to keep up. And you might struggle to keep up with this channel if you don't subscribe. I post a video.
Alright, dude. What's the next Pokemon? We have 4 more to go.
To tell YouTube to recommend
It's Blaziken.
in the room. Blaziken's speed stat. For an
Speed
offensive
boost?
Pokemon, it's just way too slow. And it's also just in this awkward middle ground where it's too slow to keep up with the really fast
Mega.
Pokemon, but too fast to be effective in Trick Room. But that's not factoring in Blaziken's ability, Speed Boost. Speed Boost is one of the craziest abilities in the game, giving the Pokemon okay, well, it gives it a speed boost every single turn. I guess that's not shocking. This is one of very, very few abilities that can boost a Pokemon stats without some condition being met.
When they're
And
going
for
to create
good
attack
reason.
boosts?
Stat boosts are a huge deal in competitive Pokemon. And so for the most part, getting one requires using a move or giving up your item. That might make it a bit easier to see how being able to raise speed, arguably the most important stat, at the end of every single turn with no drawback is completely absurd. So Blaziken had a little use over the years, normally with either a Focus Sash to help keep it alive or a
Mega
Orb to boost its damage.
What about
It's
Mega?
able to make use of both its offensive stats by using moves like Overheat and Superpower, with each move lowering one of Blaziken's
Why doesn't
offensive
Blaziken learn
stats after
close
connecting,
combat?
which was less costly because then Blaziken could just switch to the other one. But if this were the whole story, Blaziken wouldn't have made this list. Fortunately for the Flaming Chicken, there's more to this tale, specifically Mega Blaziken.
Exactly.
Mega Blaziken is pretty much just a strict upgrade, assuming you don't mind sacrificing your item and your Mega Evolution. Every single one of its stats is better than Blaziken's, and its attack gets a huge boost. It's also one of the few Mega Evolutions that can KO Mega Kangaskhan, the most used Mega, which mattered because Mega Blaziken could also outspeed Mother after a speed boost. Oh yeah, lots of Pokemon had their abilities changed when Mega evolving, but Blaziken was one of the few that got to keep its original ability. And good thing too, because honestly, almost any other ability aside from like Wonder Guard would probably have been worse. With the extra bulk from Mega Evolution, Mega Blaziken felt a lot tankier, and while it could still go down quickly, there were also battles where it stuck around turn after turn, continuously threatening to deal huge damage before the opponent could move. Mega Blaziken won 2 regional level events, including the Nashville Open, a tournament that took place at the 2018
So who is number
World
2?
Championships
Charizard
was
definitely is here.
chock full of
100% Charizard is here.
Pokemon that was never mainstream, but was extremely threatening in the right hand.
Well, who else could be
Blaziken
here?
and Primarina were starter Pokemon that, while strong,
You
were
say-
also never especially mainstream. That's not something you can say for all the remaining starter Pokemon on this list.
The
who are
Grass
all
Monkey,
considered top competitive threats,
Charizard,
at least at one
and
point. So let's kick off
I guess
the big
Venusaur?
dogs by talking about a big frog, Venusaur. Venusaur's a grass and poison type Pokemon that just sucks to play against. As I'm recording this, I am currently preparing for the World Championships, and like if there's one Pokemon I don't want to play against, it's probably Venusaur. Just
I
like
guess he's
Blaziken,
baiting all his
Primarina
watchers.
is really
Hey,
holds
good,
the
build your
key
team
to
around
success
Venusaur so they can
Chlorophyll.
completely wreck you in the
This ability
tournament.
doubles Venusaur's speed stat if the strong sunlight weather condition is active, effectively allowing it to outspeed every other Pokemon in the game. But Venusaur's special
Does
attack
he use a
stat
fire
isn't
attack?
that high.
Is that hidden
So
power?
why is it moving before other Pokemon?
Or that's some kind
like
of
a big
new
deal? That has
Terrorizer
to do with a move that
ability
Venusaur learns
that
should be familiar to anyone who's ever caught a
matches
Butterfree.
your
Sleep
Terrorization.
Powder. Sleep Powder puts whatever it hits to sleep, but it only hits 75% of the time.
Well,
Using
that
it is a
75%
huge
of the
gamble.
time
That
is a
being said,
win.
If it does connect, the target can be unable to move for as many as 3 turns, which is a huge setback. It's not easy to get around Venusaur either. It's decently bulky, and even if you have a strong, super effective attack,
Yeah,
you can
Venusaur
get
is
around both
definitely my
Sleep Powder
favorite
and
Pokemon.
Focus Sash item it
At
often
least
carries,
aesthetically.
requiring you to hit it twice to knock it out.
I really
Venusaur
like
is
the way it
great
looks.
synergy with Pokemon that set the sunlight up, because not only does it hit the water, ground, and rock type Pokemon for super effective damage that give fire type Pokemon trouble, and it doubles its speed in the strong sunlight, but the fire type Sunsetters also hit grass type Pokemon for super effective damage. And grass is the only type in the game that
Yeah,
is
that
immune
monkey
to
right here.
Sleep Powder. Even if the fire type can't help for whatever reason, Venusaur's secondary
Is
poison
definitely
typing
number
gives
2.
it an advantage against other grass types.
Or is it number 1? I don't know.
Has had a ton of success.
Wait, see,
over the
Charizard is
years,
right here.
and was especially dominant back in the final year of Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. Pairing Venusaur with Pokemon like Primal Groudon, as it turns out, is really scary, since buying a single turn for the land monster to attack for free could often result in so much damage that the opponent could never recover. But those
It's kind of crazy to me how Primal Gordon became stronger than Kyogre.
You are so valid, by the way, sweet dreams. Might have noticed that I said Venusaur's base form, and that's because Venusaur has two other forms, both of which were more impactful.
Mega and Gigantamax.
Venusaur was the more tame of the two. While it does give up chlorophyll, it becomes
But you're not gonna give your
tankier
Mega
and gains the ability
to a Venusaur.
turning off its weaknesses to fire and ice. This Mega evolution completely warps the way that Venusaur plays, turning it into this super tank rather than the normal fast and frail disruption role it likes to fill. Now, instead of needing Venusaur to hit a sleep powder or risk being wiped off the map, Venusaur could instead focus on sticking around and dealing damage over time, and could even lean into a healing build if it wanted. I won a regional with Giga Drain, Leech Seed Mega Venusaur that could whittle down my opponent's health over time, and other players had success using the move Synthesis to recover 50% of Venusaur's health at a time. But what really makes Mega Venusaur so good, in my opinion, is the fact that you're not forced to Mega Evolve it. If you wanted to use Venusaur as a chlorophyll disruptor Pokemon, you could bring Mega Venusaur but just not Mega Evolve it. In 2015, the
Discord.
German national championships were won by a player with both Mega
No.
Charizard Y, who could set the sun up, and Mega
I already told that
Venusaur.
person
If you
no,
wanted to use
Fedor.
Mega Charizard and base Venusaur, you could do that. But you could also leave Charizard behind and lean into Mega Venusaur as a tank in certain matchups. But neither regular Venusaur or Mega Venusaur were anywhere near as scary as Gigantamax Venusaur. This Pokemon was a menace, and despite being around for only about 2 years, it quickly took over competitive play. Gigantamax Venusaur plays very similarly to regular Venusaur, which I guess makes sense because it's literally just a bigger version of it. And unlike Mega Venusaur, which is a permanent transformation,
Is it a war attack?
Gigantamax ends after only 3 turns. But don't let that fool you. Those 3 turns are extremely impactful. What made Gigantamax Venusaur so scary
I was focused
was
on
its
the
access
video.
as
Are you
one of
serious?
4 Pokemon to the scariest Gigantamax move in the game. This move had a different name depending on which Pokemon used it. For Venusaur, it was called G-Max Vine Lash. This move was completely absurd. If you hit a single Pokemon with it a single time, even through Protect, both your opponent's Pokemon would lose a 1/6 of their HP over the next 4 turns unless they were a grass type. If you were to take max damage from this effect, you would lose 1/3 of your team's total health as a passive effect of using a move 1 time. It was also virtually impossible to prevent this effect from going up, since Gigantamax Venusaur keeps the chlorophyll ability and doubles its HP, meaning you have basically no chance of knocking it out before it moves. Gigantamax Venusaur could also use the max version of Earth Power, Max Quake, to raise its team's special defense, making it even harder to get rid
Good
of.
lord, eh?
Gigantamax Venusaur became a top threat the instant it entered the game. It won the North American International Championships, multiple regional
But yeah,
championships,
Incinerator is
and
number
multiple
1.
Land Cups. And it would have won a second one if I had.
But he's not gonna
The
put
fact
that on the
it
list,
didn't
so?
even need to Gigantamax right away and could instead use Sleep Powder to disrupt made it even harder to handle. Gigantamax Venusaur was so oppressive that it makes other forms of Venusaur look tame, which is saying something. But Venusaur isn't the only starter Pokemon on this list. with
Charizard, eh?
forms. What? You thought I was gonna make a video about starter Pokemon and not talk about Game Freak's Golden Goose Charizard? Charizard is similar to Venusaur.
So that
in
mean the
it
green
has
monkey's
3
number
forms
1?
We're gonna talk about today, but it differs.
Or is it
in that one of
Greninja?
those
There's no
forms
way
is
it's a green
not
monkey.
its base form. Base
It's the
Charizard
grass
is
monkey
just
Groki.
bad. I did bring into a
Oh
regional
man,
one
that
time,
means
so I guess I'm
Greninja. It's
qualified
not
to
up
say
here
that.
anymore.
Typing isn't awful, but it
Man,
has a lot
Greninja
of
used to be the
weaknesses
shit.
and will disintegrate if it touches a rock, and its stats leave much to be desired. It's not tanky, it's not that fast, and it isn't strong enough to justify everything else. Luckily for the lizard, Game Freak wasn't content to just let Charizard wallow in mediocrity. So starting with Pokemon X and Y, they gave it some help. Let's start by talking about Mega Charizard X. This Pokemon was never very
Dragon
popular,
Dance?
but it was very strong.
But the other
Fire
one
and
was
Dragon
strong.
type Pokemon that gains the ability Tough Claws, powering up many of its physical attacks. Fire and Dragon is good typing, as
I never
Fire is
really
strong against
understood
the
what it
fairy
made
and Steel type
Mega
Pokemon
Charizard X
Dragon
black.
struggles with, and Dragon resists the
I'd
water
already
moves
kept
that
its regular
Fire
color
does.
and the black
Mega
version
Charizard
been
X
shiny.
became a lot tankier to supplement its better defensive typing, and also gained a ton of attack, letting it actually work as a physical attacker. I brought it to the World Championships twice, and I won a regional with it back in 2018. The thing about Mega Charizard X is that although it was very strong, its most broken move was Flare Blitz, a move with recoil, and the more damage damage it dealt, the more damage Charizard took in exchange. Couple this with Charizard's speed stat, which, although good, wasn't faster than most other threatening Mega Evolutions, and it starts to become clear why Mega Charizard X never really took wing. Mega Charizard Y is a totally different
Sun,
story.
free sun.
Although
Wait.
arguably worse fire and flying typing, it gets some useful tools to make up for it. The biggest one is its ability
Drought.
which sets up the strong sunlight. Weather is a really big deal in competitive Pokemon, and having a powerful fire type that can set the sun for itself turns out is pretty strong. Charizard Y had an advantage over other weather setters.
Plus it could
by
Mega
being
Evolve
a
in
Mega
battle.
Evolution. Normally, if a weather setting Pokemon is already on the field, another weather setter can just switch
You can
in
switch
and
in.
turn off the weather. Weather. For example, if Groudon is on the field, Kyogre can switch in and turn the sun to rain. But because switches happen before Mega Evolution, this doesn't work against Charizard Y. If Charizard's on the field and the opponent switches in, say, Politoed, the weather would turn to rain. And then Charizard would Mega Evolve and turn the weather to sun. In other words, it's nearly impossible to turn the sun off if Charizard is on the field in its base form. Sun is a really dangerous weather condition because unlike sand or snow or hail, the sun weather condition powers up a type of move offensively. Specifically, and this is probably a shock, it powers up fire type moves. To try and balance the game, Game Freak made sure to build in weaknesses of the sun setters, whether via a low special attack stat like Groudon and Ninetales, or a low speed stat like Torkoal. The special attack stat matters a lot on Pokemon with the ability Drought, because sun boosted fire moves that can hit multiple targets like Heat Wave and Eruption can be super oppressive. And not only
What
are
about
there no
Hurricane?
spread
Hurricane is
control
super
fire type
impressive.
moves, but you can always lower the power of physical attackers with the Intimidate ability. Mega Charizard Y is the one exception to this rule. It's extremely strong and fast enough to be a threat. It can spread damage with Heat Wave or remove a key threat with Overheat or Fire Blast. And it gets the move
Fire
Solar
Blast.
Beam, which hits the water and rock types that resist its fire type moves. Mega Charizard Y was a top Mega Evolution for most of the time it was in the game, sometimes being as good as one of the 3 best Mega Evolutions. It won multiple regional and national level events and finished second.
So the
in
number
World
one is
Championships
either it has to be
ultimately
what's his
losing
name?
to Pachirisu. But neither Mega
The
Charizard
grass
was anywhere near as good
drummer?
as Gigantamax Charizard. See, Charizard was one of the other Pokemon that got access to that broken max move effect I mentioned earlier. In
Damn,
this
Rip
case,
Blastoise,
called
huh?
Max Wildfire.
I used to be a
But whereas
Blastoise
Venusaur
enjoyer.
was threatening because it was too fast and bulky to stop it from getting
I
the
think
move off,
Wildfire is like
Charizard
a
was
fire spin.
terrifying
It
for
traps you.
another reason. This attack was one of the single strongest moves of all time. That might seem a little strange because Gigantamax Charizard just has all of Charizard's base stats minus the HP, which is just doubled. And I already mentioned how base Charizard is actually pretty bad. But here's the thing. Gigantamax Charizard would often use the move Blast Burn, the fire type Hyper Beam. So we're already starting with a move that's pretty strong. And just like Primarina, it doesn't have to worry about the downside of the recharge turn when it's in its Gigantamax form. And then we start adding in multipliers. This move gets 50% stronger because it's a fire type move and Charizard is a fire type Pokemon. It gets another 30% stronger because of the Life Orb item that Charizard would often hold. Another 50% stronger for the strong sunlight, and another 50% because of Charizard's ability, Solar Power. Solar Power increases the special attack stat of the user by a whopping 50% if the strong sunlight is active, but causes the Pokemon to lose 10% of their health every single turn while the sun is up. It's a strong ability, but I would say it's overall pretty well balanced because of the HP loss. Except if the Pokemon is Dynamaxed, that HP loss is halved. And that's true of the Life Orb recoil as well. You see, these effects cause a Pokemon to lose 10% of their base health, not their Dynamax health. And whereas the damage adds up pretty quickly when you're taking 10% per effect, it feels a lot less meaningful when it's only 5% and you have twice as much health as normal. With all these multipliers in play, Gigantamax Charizard could KO even Pokemon that resist it. And that's not even factoring in the G-Max Wildfire effect, which again causes both opponents to lose a 6th of their HP every turn for the next 4 turns. And that's not all. Gigantamax Charizard is the only form of Charizard to actually make good use of its flying typing. The single best base max move in the game was Max Airstream. In order to prevent offensive Dynamax moves from taking over the game, Game Freak capped the base power of the moves that raised your offensive stats much lower than other max moves. That's why Max Knuckle and Max Ooze were so rarely seen. They just were weaker than other max moves. But Game Freak forgot that speed is an offensive stat as well, and arguably more important. And Max Airstream didn't have this limiter put on. So Max Airstream was not only as strong as other max moves, it also raised your team's speed every every single time you connected with it. While Max Airstream wasn't being boosted by the strong sunlight, it did still benefit from Life Orb, Gigantamax, and Solar Power, meaning it could still easily wipe Pokemon off the field before you could blink. And dealing with Gigantamax Charizard and its partner, often Groudon, with a speed boost was nearly impossible. Gigantamax Charizard was the single best performing Dynamax Pokemon in Sword and Shield, period. It won the first event of the game's release and the very last, and placed second at the only world championships that happened during
So who's number one? It has to be Grookey, right? There it is, huh? It's the monkey.
In the #1 slot for the second best starter Pokemon. And if you think it belongs there, I don't blame you. But after giving it a lot of thought, I'm giving the title of #1 second best starter Pokemon instead to Rillaboom. And that might be
What? Who could have seen that coming?
Technically, Rillaboom has less results than Charizard, but here's my thinking. Rillaboom was only introduced last
Exactly.
year in
He just
Sword
came
and
out.
Shield, and it didn't even have access to its hidden ability for a time. Unlike Charizard, it doesn't have special treatment from Game Freak. Okay, technically it does have a Gigantamax form that ignores abilities and is a little bit stronger, but compare that to the Gmax form that Charizard gets, and I think the favoritism is apparent. But despite having only one real form, Rillaboom has established itself as one of the strongest Pokemon of all time. Like every other Pokemon on this
Its ability,
list, that
Grassy
firstly
Field,
has to do with
Grass
its
Surge.
ability. Grassy Surge sets up the field effect Grassy Terrain, powering up grass moves, healing all Pokemon that touch the ground every single turn, and cutting the power of the move Earthquake in half. Grassy Terrain is a little lower impact than the other terrains, but part of
But
what
he
makes
is
it
a
so strong is that you can use
extreme
it as a way to
speed
shut down your opponent's terrain
version.
and
That's a
disrupt
grass
their
type.
strategy. The ability is good, but it isn't the whole story. Rillaboom stats are great. It's got good bulk and a solid attack stat. And while its speed is middling, that actually isn't that big of a problem.
Because
on
he's
supporting
extreme
Pokemon
speed
like
version,
Rillaboom.
grass
Rillaboom
version.
gets the move Grassy Glide.
Yeah.
A move that was so strong they had to nerf it in Scarlet and Violet. This move gets priority if Grassy Terrain is up, and it's stronger than other priority moves to begin with, and it gets a damage boost from Grassy Terrain. Rillaboom also gets one of the best supporting moves in the game, Fake Out, which stops the target from moving for a single turn and acts with heightened priority. Rillaboom's speed stat also works in its favor because it gets the move U-Turn, which does some damage and then lets the user switch out. Bulky Pokemon generally prefer to use this move after the opponent has already attacked for the turn because it allows them to bring in a frailer, more offensive Pokemon safely. So Rillaboom is an excellent user. Normally, a Pokemon that excels at supporting its team and sponging damage tends to have trouble doing damage back, but Rillaboom is the exception. It can use the move Wood Hammer, a move with a really high base
But yeah,
power to
number
deal
one
huge damage
is Incinerator.
without much investment in its
But,
attack, thanks to the same type attack
this is the
bonus
list
and
for the
boost from
second
Grassy
best
Terrain
Pokemon.
with the move's high base power. This move does recoil damage to Rillaboom, but the healing from Grassy Terrain helps to offset that. Rillaboom typically holds the Assault Vest item to help shore up its lower special defense stat, but that's not the only option it has for good items. Players have had success with Miracle Seed to boost grass moves, Choice Band for a huge damage boost, and Clear Amulet to stop Intimidate, to name a few. I won the Players Cup 2, a national level event with Assault Vest Rillaboom, and also won the Charlotte Regional Championships this year with the same set. Rillaboom has only been legal for 2 World Championships, and its finishes are first and second. It's won countless regional and international level events, and it's showing no signs of slowing down. In fact, as I record this in early August, Rillaboom is arguably the strongest it's ever been, despite the fact that
Not
it has
really.
to deal with powerful, restricted legendary Pokemon.
I don't see any
Unlike
Rillabooms
Charizard
in
and
the recent
Venusaur, who
BGC
perform best
tournament.
when the entire team is built around supporting and enabling them, Rillaboom is a lot more selfless. Rather than work as the star, it instead enables its teammates to shine, making it much more flexible with the teams it can
Calyrex.
work on. Despite
Calyrex
the
is a
nerfs to
weird looking
Grassy Glide
Pokemon.
and the introduction of multiple new ways to stop Fake Out, Rillaboom continues to perform and has reached a level of dominance
Man,
that
it-
I
that
think
really
is
reminds
of the
me, there hasn't
number
been in the
one,
Pokemon
number two
movies
starter
forever.
Pokemon. And that's the last starter Pokemon I'm gonna talk about.
That was
Sure
I
glad
think
we talked about
Zoro,
them all. Okay,
not
let's leave the video
Zoroark.
before it. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, you might like this other video I made trying to find the worst starter Pokemon of all time. It seemed like some of the Pokemon I was considering really surprised people, so
Well, it's not
starter
Meganium.
Pokemon are some of the most beloved and memorable in the entire series. I mean, every game literally starts with you picking one to be your partner. To make sure these
So,
Pokemon feel special,
what did I
they're
say?
across the board pretty good. Some are perhaps a little bit too good.
Calyrex.
And when they
As
aren't doing
I think
so well,
Zerado
they give them
Zerado
treatment with Mega Evolution,
is the
Gigantamax
last
forms,
Pokemon
and
movie
regional
with
forms.
Celebi.
But not all starter Pokemon have been treated this way. Some are out here begging for scraps while Charizard stuffs itself silly. And that got me thinking, What is the worst starter Pokemon of all time? Before anybody tries to beat me up in an alley for saying that their favorite starter Pokemon sucks,
So
keep in mind that I'm
like
talking
Cyndaquil,
strictly about
Meganium.
competitive Pokemon here. I love a lot of the Pokemon on this list, but that doesn't
Well,
stop them
who
from
else is
being
garbage,
dog
huh?
water competitively. Okay? Nobody's gonna get mad at me, right? Okay. First on our list is Sceptile. I can already hear the comments
No,
yelling at
yeah,
me.
you only learn
Listen,
grass
it's not
attacks.
as bad as you think. I'm starting from
He has
least
speed, huh?
bad and moving up. I've selected 5 starter Pokemon that are really bad but not quite the worst, and then I'll share the top 3 worst starter Pokemon of all time.
Who do you think is the worst,
Sceptile's
Federal?
on here because, well, it just isn't very good. As a pure grass type Pokemon,
Yeah, he doesn't even learn that many moves, huh?
and there's a bunch of types that resist it. Sceptile's main
Like,
selling
I think he
point
learns
is
like
speed,
Poison Grass,
faster
maybe
than
Dragon
most
Pulse.
Pokemon. The problem is it doesn't really have a way to make use of this. Sceptile has the same attack stat as Quaxwell, Marshtomp, and Thwackey. You know, middle stage starter Pokemon. To compensate, it also has less special attack than Haunter. Not Gengar, Haunter. And unlike many grass type Pokemon,
Well, to be
it
fair,
doesn't have the
he has
supporting
better
moveset to
stats than
really mess with
Charizard.
your opponent's strategy. It doesn't get Spore or
He
Sleep
just
Powder,
doesn't learn any
neither
good
of which
moves.
would actually make it really threatening. On top of all that, Sceptile is frail. If it gets hit with any super effective move, it'll do a Grovyle impression from Pokemon Mystery Dungeon and vanish. All starter Pokemon of a type have the same ability.
To
Overgrowth for
Torterra,
grass,
I don't know.
Blaze for fire,
Torterra
and
is
Torrent for
type,
water.
eh?
Their hidden abilities, though, can vary, and these can have a pretty big impact. In Sceptile's case, its hidden ability is some kind of sick joke. It's Unburden, which doubles its speed stat once Sceptile has consumed whatever item it's holding. While for some Pokemon, doubling their speed is a big deal, speed was the only stat Sceptile didn't have to worry about. Thanks, Game Freak. Now, Sceptile has gotten buffed over the years. Most recently, it was given the
Mega?
move Shed Tail that, despite being a great move, did nothing to improve Sceptile's viability. The more meaningful buff was the introduction of Mega Sceptile. Now a grass
Still garbage.
and dragon type, Mega Sceptile was even faster, got a lot more special attack, and a massive 10 points to its defense, the only increase to its bulk. On the plus side, it did get the ability Lightning Rod, which actually is a big upgrade. Mega Sceptile is by far the best Sceptile has ever been, which is still, let me check, not very good. While you could do some cheeky shenanigans with like Choice Scarf Discharge to make it stronger, it was just so frail that using it was a liability. Grass and Dragon both being weak to ice meant even weak moves like Icy Wind were a huge threat, and the addition of 2 new weaknesses in Dragon and Fairy didn't make things any easier. Since you could only Mega Evolve 1 Pokemon per battle,
Making it
hard to see why
Sceptile's kinda
Mega
crazy.
Sceptile wasn't worth using. Speaking of not worth using, let's talk about one of the most hated starter Pokemon of all time,
Meganium?
Emboar.
Oh, okay.
As the 3rd firefighting starter in a row, Emboar received a lot of negativity when it released, and its public image did not improve once players started using it. While Infernape and Blaziken
Speed,
look
huh?
cool and are fast and strong, capable of using their good offensive typing to overwhelm opponents, Emboar is slow and looks, well, goofy. Now, the good thing about being slower is that typically, Pokemon that are not so fast
Bulky.
tend to be much bulkier to compensate.
But not him.
Emboar seems to have missed the memo on this one.
He has a
While
lot of
it does have
HP.
a lot of HP, its defense and special defense stats are like seeing a band in concert that isn't very good live. They leave a lot to be desired. Emboar is strong, and its hidden ability can make it even stronger. Reckless powers up all moves that have recoil, like
There's
Flare Blitz
HP.
and Wild
He's
Charge.
already
While
fragile.
the damage boost is nice, more damage means more recoil damage, making it even harder to keep Emboar alive. Basically, if you want to use Emboar, you need to use the move Trick Room, which lets slow Pokemon move before fast ones. But Emboar actually isn't even slow enough to really take advantage of Trick Room. It's got this awful speed stat where it's slower than anything even average speed, but faster than the slow Pokemon that tend to thrive in Trick Room like Amoonguss. Despite all of Emboar's shortcomings, there is one player who believed in it more than any other. This player used Emboar to win their first event, a regional back in 2011, and then brought Emboar to the World Championships, finishing 6th. Who was this player? Well, by the way, if you've made it this far into the video, just a little reminder to check and see if you're subscribed. I work really hard on every video I put out, and many videos actually have over 100 hours of work total put into them across me and my team. So if you want to support the channel or see more of my stuff, I'd really appreciate it. If you did just subscribe, the good thing is that you're definitely not going to regret it as I talk about the next Pokemon on our list, for Alligator. Okay, I do
What?
feel like people are going to be mad at me about this
He
one
learns
too,
Dragon
but I'm not
Dance.
here to tell you what you want to hear. I'm here to tell you the truth. Feraligatr, more like Garbaligator. Feraligatr is a pure water type
Tortoria?
Wow, how original. Even though it's not as slow as Embor, I mean, it's still not very fast.
I think he's better. Well, not competitively,
but at least
but
better than the Pokemon we've talked about thus far.
I guess so.
Somehow super weak. It's a gator, but they didn't give it any attack. Why? The issue with Feraligatr, and this is going to be true with a lot of Pokemon on our list, is that there's nothing that really makes it unique. For example, some of you may know that Feraligatr gets Dragon Dance, but if you want a water type Dragon Dance Pokemon, you're better off using Gyarados. If you want to forego setup and instead run an offensive item in Feraligatr, like, I don't know, Choice Band, you'd probably rather use Azumarill. If you want a bulky water type, well, there are a ton of better options like Milotic or Gastrodon. I could go on, but you probably get the point. There's really nothing that makes Feraligatr better than its peers. I guess the one thing worth mentioning is that it does get the ability Sheer Force, which in my opinion is one of the weirdest abilities in the game. Sheer Force says, hey, if this Pokemon uses a move that has some sort of secondary effect that could activate, forget about that secondary effect and take a damage boost instead.
So that was good.
The reason I say it's weird is that for whatever reason, it works with Life Orb. Life Orb is an item that gives all the users' moves a 30% damage increase.
They get the boost, but don't lose the HP.
Of their max health every time they.
Because that was really good at Nidoking.
For whatever reason, this 10% recoil effect is counted as a secondary effect for Sheer Force.
But the initial effect is still there.
Life Orb without losing any health. While this is a really great combination for Sheer Force users generally, it isn't enough to save our strong-jawed friend.
And
Feraligatr
those
just isn't fast
Salamence,
to make use of this
Nidoking.
powerful interaction. And that's probably the reason its results page looks like this. This is actually an identical results page to our next Pokemon, Torterra. Torterra is a grass and ground type Pokemon that unfortunately is by far the weakest of its generation. While Infernape is fast and strong and Empoleon has a great ability and cool typing, Torterra got stuck with a quadruple weakness to ice
doesn't
and a great role in
what's his name? I thought Empoleon be shitted on as well, cause that's Defiant. Well, then again, it's a lot Intimidate in VGC.
If you don't have the right moves. Its attack isn't good per se, but it is usable, especially since Torterra gets some high damage moves. But that's about where the good news ends.
We mentioned this Life Orb Sheer Force interaction only works with moves that are affected by Sheer Force in the first place.
Strong enough, you'd never use it over an actual Trick Room attacker that can, you know, do damage. With its quadruple weakness to ice and weaknesses to fire and flying, though, using it outside.
So is this matching your expectation, Federal?
In Scarlet and Violet, Torterra was given
Do you agree so far?
a powerful move that doubles the user's speed, attack, and special attack.
Doesn't Blastoise get this as well?
About whether this would finally allow Torterra to, well, maybe not dominate, but at least do something. It would not. Unfortunately, Torterra is so slow that even doubling its speed doesn't allow it to outrun many of the faster threats in the format. Not to mention, it is so vulnerable on the turn you use Shell Smash since the move also lowers your defenses. So despite this buff and gaining access to the powerful new move Headlong Rush, Torterra still hasn't been able to do anything.
And the number one is
we're a few weeks back in
Meganium.
2015.
Wait a minute, the video is he's already towards the end.
Was a major threat. It was used as an endgame demon, using Leech Seed and Synthesis.
Or is it Cyndaquil? So Cyndaquil and Meganium are... Well, Cyndaquil has Eruption.
As a pure grass type, it does
Meganium has nothing.
Ice weakness. And it's actually really tanky with the Eviolite item.
I don't know.
It didn't like.
Why would you ever use Meganium?
I don't think it got any like super good results, but it's the only time that I can think of where anything close to Torterra was relevant. Which brings us to our final member before we talk about the 3 worst starter Pokemon of all time. Delphox. Delphox is a fire and psychic type that is one.
How much has he listed so far?
Starter Pokemon.
I thought it was like top 5.
To be a fast and strong
I guess he's going beyond top 5. No idea. I'm not super into competitive Pokemon. I like do stupid stuff like AAA are used to play small tournaments with friends.
A middling power move that lowers the target's special attack.
Like I don't play competitive Pokemon. I'm just guessing myself. What is that Pokemon? I've never seen that Pokemon. Bomberator. I've never seen that Pokemon in my life.
Taking away Delphox's only real special trick. Fire and Psychic are okay typing at least. They work together well offensively as no type resists both Fire and Psychic, and defensively they do alright too, providing 7 resistances in exchange for 5 weaknesses. Unfortunately, Delphox's stats just aren't good enough to bring out the typing's full potential. One thing that could have saved Delphox is its hidden ability. With a great ability like
The
Shroud
magician?
or
I
Psychic
think he had
Surge,
magician,
it
right?
wouldn't
Yeah?
actually been usable. Instead, Delphox got Magician. And if you don't know what Magician does, you aren't alone. Off the top of my
Something
head,
about the
I
item?
could not tell you with 100% certainty. After doing some research, I figured out that the way that Magician works is it allows the user to steal the item of whatever Pokemon it hits. While stealing items sounds good in theory,
You gotta
it
get
only
lucky.
works if the user isn't holding an
Super
item.
hot. Oh
So if
my
you wanna get
gosh.
the value out of
You know
Magician,
those
you
type
either
of
need to run
Pokemon are
no
like
item or an item that
87.5% male,
consumes.
right?
If Delphox were bulkier, it could be a decent user of Citrus Berry to recover HP.
That's in
and then steal an
Primarina.
item. But unfortunately, giving Delphox a Citrus Berry is like giving a toddler a Ferrari. It won't be able to use it very well. Your only real option is the Focus
That's
Sash,
it?
which won't even activate every battle.
That was a
And
toddler
even if it
using
does,
Ferrari very
Delphox
well.
will get knocked out before it has a chance to move. If Delphox is a magician, it's like a kid who got baby's first magic kit, and they're so bad you can see exactly how they're doing the trick, but you want to encourage them, so you pretend to be amazed anyway. All right, enough talking about mid Pokemon. You didn't come here to learn about what
I'm gonna guess my top 3. So you said the top 3 are the worst. Meganium is up there. Cyndaquil might be up there, but again, Cyndaquil learned Eruption, so Cyndaquil. You could go choice Scarfa, Eruption, Cyndaquil in Drought. So Meganium is up there. First gen, second gen, third gen. Swampert was good. Swampert is up there, so I don't think Swampert's gonna get shitted on. Blaziken is up there. The fourth gen, you have Sir Oshawott is up there. Like Oshawott is just garbage. I don't think anyone uses Oshawott. Huh? So Oshawott, I really like Oshawott's form actually. Maybe Oshawott. Well, I don't like Samurott. I like Oshawott, but I don't like Samurott. So Oshawott could be up there. Because it doesn't really have a wide variety of moves, and there's no mega evolution for it. For it to be redeeming. But then Emboar, like I think Oshawott would be better than Umbor, and you already listed Umbor. But so right now it could be Oshawott. It could, like I feel Meganium is guaranteed. Number 5 generation Primarina is good. The bird though, the burler the burler. That's a hard word. The bird learns the what's that owl call? It's not Noctowl, but whatever the owls call. That could be up there as well. Ghost Shackles, I think it's a signature move is. Ghost Grass, is this a good typing? Maybe not. Ugh. Maybe Oshawott, Meganium, and the Owl, or maybe it was one of the newer types. What showed Greninja? It's Greninja. Delphi. Oh, that other thing. The Knight. Because there's a Mage, a Ninja, and a Knight. And the Knight is a Chestnut. Chestnut is also... Grass Fight, it is horrible. Like, you're getting destroyed by any flying attack. So it's probably just gonna be a bunch of grass type you list off.
You want to know about the bottom of the barrel. The starter Pokemon Game Freak should issue an apology over for messing up so badly. And what better place to start our worst of the worst than with a Pokemon with 2 forms and no hope?
Serious?
Samurott is a pure water type Pokemon.
Like, Emboar is better than Samurott?
Sucks. It basically has everything that was wrong with Feraligatr, but it's somehow even worse. Probably the biggest issue with Samurott are its stats.
I guess 2 forms.
A single thing well. It isn't strong enough to be a sweeper, it isn't bulky enough to be a tank, and it isn't fast or slow enough to be useful inside or outside of Trick Room. If you want a Pokemon to be below average at everything, Samurott is a great place to start. But stats aren't the whole story. What about Samurott's
move pulse?
ability? Plenty of Pokemon are saved by their
Shell
ability.
Hammer,
Well,
Shell
Samurott's
Armor,
ability is good.
Shell Armor.
It's shell armor, which prevents it from getting critical hit. The thing is, shell armor gets more value the tankier a Pokemon is, as they'll stick around for longer, meaning more and more potential crits get negated. Unfortunately, as we've already established, Samurott isn't that bulky of a Pokemon. What about its moves? Well, they aren't bad,
Very
but
limited.
they're
There's
pretty
like
much
flying,
exactly what
dark,
you'd expect.
and
It's all
water,
and ice
ice.
moves that come standard with your water type in the male. It doesn't have really any meaningful
Like, there's
coverage
some bug
outside
moves
of,
as well.
like, grass knot.
But
That's
physical moves.
actually kind of it. It is worth noting that Samurott actually placed 3rd at the World Championships in 2011. A fact I completely forgot about until just now. This is because back in 2011, you could only use Pokemon that were catchable in Black and White's Pokedex, and there were way fewer good water types than usual. Unfortunately, after 2011, Samurott was never seen again. But Samurott got another chance at life when
Surprising,
the Pokemon
though.
from Legends Arceus were added to Scarlet
I thought
and
that
Violet.
is new evolution.
Hisuian Samurott was a new take on the Narwhal. Now a water and dark type, its new stats, oh, they're somehow even worse. It's a
Worse,
little
huh?
stronger and faster now, but still not fast enough to outspeed anything, and they actually made it even frailer. At the very least, Hisuian Samurott's ability is better.
But
Now being
the
sharp,
Mega looks cooler.
boosting the power of specific cutting moves by 50%, which is actually a big deal.
Yes, huh?
And Hisuian Samurott
Hey,
gets a
tell me
signature
this is
move
it?
called Ceaseless Edge that both does damage and sets up the entry hazard spikes when
Damn, and it's still not good?
While this is a cool move, it's
Like, I
made
thought-
it worth it for anybody to actually use Hisuian
Do you still
Samurott,
think
especially
Emboar
with so many better water type Pokemon available.
is
I feel like
better
they got
than
so
this?
close with Hisuian Samurott
But that's
with
really what
better
I'm
typing,
thinking
ability,
about.
and move pool, but by changing the
'Cause I
stats
thought
to be even
Samurott to be
worse than they
better,
already were,
considered
they've doomed
morally
it to
more
obscurity.
desirable
But
than Emboar.
obscurity would be a kindness compared to the state of our number 2 worst starter.
Yeah, I
Pokemon of all
figured it.
time,
The other two would be
Decidueye.
grass types,
This one
huh?
especially makes me mad because design-wise, Decidueye rocks. An owl archer, and it evolves from Rowlet, which is one of the
Okay.
best starters in my opinion. Oh, let's not talk about Dartrix. Anyway, they did Decidueye so dirty. Just like Samurott, most of the problem
Archer.
is with stats. Actually, both Samurott and Dekidui have extremely
Dekidui?
similar stats.
No wonder
Their
they know his
offensive stats
fucking
are
name.
flipped, but identical except for a single point, and their
his
defenses
special
are
def is
roughly
it?
the same range.
Not
Decidueye
really.
is less bulky on the physical side,
But
maybe
HP.
slightly more on the special side. And they both have the exact same speed stat. So, as you can
Why they-
imagine, these stats are a huge problem. Grass and Ghost typing is actually pretty good as you resist a bunch of useful types and get 2 immunities. So you do have some spooky weaknesses. Overall, the typing isn't a part of the problem.
But the moveset,
same
though?
can't be said for its ability.
What is
Decidueye
it?
gets long reach.
Wait, is that
which
how
just a
you
total
pronounce
joke.
Decidueye?
Long reach allows Decidueye's contact moves to act as if they
I guess so.
contact. If you don't know what a contact move is, it's a special subset of moves that basically triggers.
This guy's the Pokemon champion, like he's the Ash Ketchum
By a contact move,
or the Leon of the Pokemon world. Huh?
Basically, a contact move is a move
He
where your
won the
Pokemon
most
has to
tournaments.
punch the other Pokemon, like Fire Punch or Thunder Punch or Ice Punch or Mega Punch or Comet Punch or actually you get it.
Too bad
this
not a lot of
ability is
moves are like that,
completely
huh?
Insulting because it's basically like not having an ability. It only does anything when Decidueye 1 uses a contact move and 2 hits something that would be affected by the contact. If you're lucky, this
Like rough
might
skin?
come up once every 5 battles.
Or spiky
if that.
shield or
And even
something?
then, dodging a single instance of a contact move rarely actually matters. It's part of the reason why the item that does exactly this has never been used competitively. Decidueye's moves are at least a little better. It gets a signature ghost move called Spirit Shackle, which traps whatever it hits until Decidueye switches out or faints. While this is a really interesting move, Decidueye just doesn't have enough going for it to make good use of it. Even a number of other useful damaging and support moves aren't enough to save Decidueye. But just like Samurott, Decidueye was given another shot at life in Legends Arceus.
It still
with its
wasn't
new
good enough, huh?
Hisuian variant. And this new form was somehow worse than the original.
Are you serious?
Unlike Hisuian Samurott,
Even
Hisuian
slower?
Decidueye stats actually got an upgrade, as it becomes slower and loses some special
Trick
attack
Room.
in exchange for some more bulk and a little more power in its attack stat. But unfortunately, the new grass and fighting typing is a huge downgrade. With no immunities, a quadruple weakness to flying, a new weakness to fairy.
Does that mean
and the
Chestnuts is
ability
up
for
here?
Either type,
Because
to hit
Chestnut and
flying,
Meganium.
poison, or bug types for even neutral damage, this typing is nothing short of a disaster. And Hisuian Decidueye's signature move is, in my opinion, a downgrade. While Triple Arrows has a good base power, a heightened crit rate, a 50% chance to lower the target.
God damn, that shit looks really
and
good.
A 30% chance for the target.
But he has to be
flinch.
fast.
This move that would be broken on a good Pokemon is somehow mediocre.
Because
the thing is, Decidueye is so slow that the flinch chance almost never comes
unless you
up,
go Trick
and
Room.
it isn't able to reliably combo with the defense drop for the same reason. Hisuian and Decidueye was given the ability Scrappy, which is actually good. Not only does Scrappy allow its fighting type moves to hit ghost types, it also makes it immune to Intimidate, which is an ability that is a little bit common. But despite the better ability and improved stats, Hisuian Decidueye still has too much stacked against it to ever hit the target. All right, now all that's left is to talk about the worst starter Pokemon of all
Meganium,
time.
shocker.
If you skipped ahead in this video to take a cheeky peek at the #1 slot, go back to the start, watch the whole video, do not pass go, do not collect $200, and you legally have to subscribe. That's
Why?
the rules. Are they gone? Okay, I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say what the worst starter Pokemon of all
Shocker.
time is. Unfortunately, it's one of my all-time favorite starter Pokemon, Meganium. Meganium. Ugh. I love this thing because
What is
I
Triple
loved
A?
it as a
Because
kid, but
the
holy
motherfucker
cow,
has
it is
Serene
so
Grace.
bad. It's like they designed a Pokemon.
Oh,
with the
Triple A is we
express
able to
purpose
make your own
of
Pokemon,
punishing
right?
Anyone who uses it. There is one good thing I can say about Meganium, and that is that it is decently bulky. It's not like anything to write home about, but if it isn't,
Well, we're
being hit
about to
with
get to
crazy
Fairy
combos,
Meganium, so
it'll probably take 2 or 3 hits.
almost
which is
any
better than
ability,
almost
yeah.
anything else on this list. And that's about where the good news ends. Meganium has super low offensive stats, making it nearly impossible for it to do damage. And
I don't
it's
understand
not
why
very
Game Freak
fast.
does this.
As a pure grass
Because
type,
some
it's
starters have 525 total stats, and some have 530. And I think some has 534. What does who would have 534? I think somewhere like, what's his name? Where's the Pokedex? I think Sceptile has 534. What is this? I guess I have to click this. So many Pokedexes. 530. So 530 is the max. What does Charizard have? I swear there was one with 534. Oh yeah, here it is. Charizard does have 534. So sometimes you get 534s and sometimes you get does Fralligate to have one? He is 530. I don't know why Game Freak does this. Is it sometimes it's gonna give some characters, some starters for some amount of extra stats? Oh, Soda Style Potion has 534. What does Blaziken have? Like, these stats could help out the Pokemon, man. That's 6 or 4 extra stats that you're essentially stealing.
pretty much only gets access to grass type moves, but it doesn't get the broken grass attack.
Like Spore.
No Spore, no Rage Powder, not
You just
even
get
a sleep
no
powder.
sleeping powder?
Meganium's best moves are like Synthesis, Leech Seed. Its ability is tied to the strong sunlight weather condition, but it's not a good ability like Chlorophyll or Solar Power. Nope, Meganium gets Leaf Guard. Do y'all even know what Leaf Guard does?
Something
It
with
stops
stats?
status conditions only if the sunlight is strong. No status conditions, what a miracle! In the 13 years I've been playing competitive Pokemon, not only have I never played against or seen Meganium, I've never even heard of anyone considering it. There are just so many grass types that each do unique things. Amoonguss puts Pokemon to sleep and redirects. Venusaur is a Chlorophyll sleep powder sweeper. Jumpluff is a support for Sun teams.
Well,
Rillaboom
Whimsicott?
sets grassy terrain, tanks damage, and does damage back. Wo-Chen, Ogerpon supports its team and does huge damage. And then you have Meganium, where the best thing we can say about it is maybe it'll sit in the field for a few turns. And despite being around longer than any other Pokemon on this list, Meganium's been given nothing. No regional form, no mega evolution, nothing. If you told me the developers forgot about Meganium, I'd have no choice but to believe you. Actually, it seems like they're keeping Meganium around just as a punching bag. On April Fool's Day this year, Game Freak announced that Meganium would be the next Terra Raid event. Even Game Freak thinks Meganium is a joke. But I guess the nice thing about starter Pokemon is that because they're so iconic, there's always a chance they'll be given some love in the future. Who knows? Maybe some of these Pokemon will be given a new form or a new ability.
Well,
Actually, I think it's okay that some starter Pokemon are bad. Maybe they should all be bad, actually.
This guy does not like Incinerator.
Maybe they should all be bad.
But he uses Incinerator every tournament. But he's like, oh, well, then again, like he's part of the problem, man. But yeah, I was about to say, Meganium and Feraligatr are about to get new forms, but he pretty much listed Samurott and Decidueye as both Pokemon who did get a new form. And we're still garbage, so it's not really much else to be excited about. I guess we just have to see if Game Freak can make a bulky Grass Fairy type, which I doubt, because the Grass Fairy just does not work. Like, what are the most meta? Incinerator is a fire type, so you're not bringing Meganium to any place where Incinerator is occupying. It's definitely not gonna have speed. So yeah, pretty much Meganium at most. Maybe if we learn like thick fat. If that was one of his hidden abilities, then it could be somewhat usable in a more competitive environment. I still believe in Water Dragon Feraligatr. Well, the Dragon Dance would be justified. I just don't know if Game Freak wants to make a dragon starter. Like, as its base tag. I know, like, Sceptile has dragon, but, like, dragon... I don't know, maybe the Game Freak dragon is broken, even though they release Fairy type, and Fairy type pretty much balances out dragon. But I don't know. The idea someone was talking about was just that. The way they want to do it is maybe they want to make, like, what is the source in Luminese, wherever the place is called. That is trying to say the source might be what inspires it. Like you have there's a myth that there are alligators in the source. So they're saying that maybe they could make a poison type of water poison, which would make sense. And it really it does tie into the area. I don't know if I showed you, but some people pointed out the fact that Chikorita learned a Fairy type move. Chica? Where is it? And also, they were saying that these characters look like the main character, but with like different colored hair. There it is. It learned Disarming Voice as one of its movesets. So it's pretty much confirmed that Chikorita will be Fairy type. No ifs, ands, or buts. I guess we have to see what Totodile learns to set itself apart. And Emboar, like, what is Emboar gonna learn? I'm pretty sure they're gonna change it from firefighting. It won't be a firefighting type, guaranteed. So dragon fighting, dragon fairy, either poison water or water dragon. So it's either it's gonna be a water dragon or a water poison. Or they could make and board the water poison, the fire poison, but it's a pig. Like pigs are known for cooking. Like a roast. What would I make the pig? Not the electric. You would never get the electric type. Hoyo, not Hoyo. Game Freak is very adamant about not making starters besides Pikachu electric. And fire electric, I guess, doesn't really mix. Is there a fire electric type? I can't think of one. Fire electric. What would Ember be? Fire steel, maybe? Oh, Ratum? Oh, yeah. Forget I'm talking to the Pokemon Master over here. It's a fire flying. It's a pig. But there is a saying that say when pigs fly. So it'd be very fascinating. They made Ember a flying type. I doubt fire dark. They're not gonna make it fire dark. What could it be? It's not fire ghost. That's a pig. Now, what do we know about pigs in France? Could be a hog. Could be a ground type. Or a rock. Actually, wait a minute. Is fairy weak? Wait a minute. No. Actually, it could work still. I don't know. Could it? Not really. How does that work? Oh, ground beats poison, poison beats fairy, but fairy does not beat ground. So that's not gonna happen. Fire ice would be funny. So, is there a fire ice type? I'm pretty sure there is. I'm pretty sure there is a fire ice type. Right? I know Volcano is a fire hydro, fire water type. But that seems something like a legendary Pokemon. Fire ice? You're getting destroyed by rocks. You're getting destroyed by a rock. Oh, yeah, they showed me this. So the main character for the upcoming Pokemon series will have a Mega Gold. Well, is this golden? It's kinda lime color, similar color to Scizor. I really don't like this color. I wish it was like black. Imagine if this was this portion was black and the face was gold. Like the dark portion was gold and the rest of the body was black. So it had like a black and gold design. Like that would have been fire. Would it look like a Nimbus? Galarian Dormiton is fire ice. What the fuck? You sure? Isn't it like ice, pure ice? Or is it this when it becomes like Zen mode? Oh, it is fire ice. Yeah, I knew it was like Zen mode. Yeah, it is Zen mode as fire ice. Cause I'm like, I know I used it. Cause his stats are really fucking good. They're like 140 attack. And I'm like, fire ice seems kind of scuffed. But it's only when it becomes in its Zen mode that it becomes this horrible typing. Yeah, but I know the ice type, the pure ice type right here is OP as fuck. I think it has better speed stat. I think it's higher. Is it higher attack? What's it? What makes this? See, it's 106? No, that's Galarian Zen mode. Oh, it has the same stats? Oh, okay. I guess you just learn better moves then. But yeah, the Zen mode for this one was actually quite fucking OP. What the fuck? Look at the stats, 160. Too bad it's like impossible to trigger. And also realize the stats are total 510, 540. So mostly like 6 points extra. What's they call this stuff? Total stats, total. So when it becomes a Galarian form or Zen mode form, like these are really good stats for offensive Pokemon. And all it does is have extra like 6 points over something like a Charizard, which means you just could redistribute a lot of Pokemon stats, especially starter stats, because most of them have 530, so it's minus 10 points from somewhere. Is there a Pokemon like 0 special attack? Wouldn't that be amazing? Like if you want to make a physical Pokemon, just have it to have 0 special attack, and just redistribute this with 30 stats somewhere else. Maybe give it some more bulk or something more offensive. But anyway, that's enough ranting for me today. Thank you for hanging around, Federal. I haven't really slept yet. So that's enough rambling from me for today. I don't think there's any Pokemon at all with the 0 stats. Yeah. Alright, man. Take care.